Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Taurus Sun and a Gemini Ascendant in a natal chart. Now, you have these two signs, though they are adjacent, they are very diametrically opposed in their way they express themselves. Somebody that has this combination will be projecting, as far as their outer demeanor goes, a more whimsical, capricious, lighthearted sign, as opposed to what's inside, which is represented by their sun sign. The sun sign, Taurus, is more taciturn, more quiet, I guess you could say introverted, but Gemini rising can come across as really gregarious, really sociable, somebody that like very loquacious and likes to talk about a wide divergence of subjects and can be very versatile. Where you have the Taurus Sun does not want to scatter the interest, wants to be more stagnant. So you have a little bit of a pull between these two signs. But I think when you look at this, this could be where, even though the signs are next to each other, they are just so strongly not, I guess you could say, they're really very different in the expression. But the sun sign, it represents our basic wants, and the rising sign can show the manner or method in which we attain them. Now, somebody with a Taurus Sun, their basic wants can be about possessions, things they value, money, their income, having financial stability and peace, tranquility in their life, and having and perhaps a good love life as well, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. Now, having Gemini rising, this person may attain these basic wants perhaps through their communication, perhaps through versatility, by talking with others, having the right connections in communication. And this could be done using perhaps their mental ability and agility. And we look at this, and really, this could be the person that can make like a good financial advisor, for example, because you'd be amalgamating the Taurus ability for understanding money and values and acumen, financial acumen, and you'd be incorporating it with the very communicative Gemini rising. Now, another example could be like a mail courier, because Taurus Sun can be somewhat stagnant, and being somebody that goes on a that is like a mail, a postal service person, and will be sitting down for part of the job, but will be moving as well and going from house to house. So I think you would have a little bit of the Taurus and Gemini blend with that. And the thing, and there would also be that kind of consistent routine that would be involved, but you have the mobility as far as going from one house to the other. So those are some examples where how you might see this amalgamate, and this could very well combine in that manner. Now, the thing about it is a lot of it depends on the aspects as well. If somebody has the Sun in Taurus conjunct their ascendant, well, the Sun, for example, let's say that somebody had the Taurus Sun at 28 degrees and Gemini rising at 2 degrees, you would have a conjunction, and you would have a strong integration of these two signs. Now, and you would have a lot of intensification, and you would show this person might have a lot of self-assuredness and confidence from that conjunction. Now, let's say in some cases somebody may have the Sun sextile the ascendant. Now, let's say that the Sun is at 2 degrees Taurus, and the Gemini ascendant is 29 degrees. Well, you would have an out-of-sign sextile aspect, and these energies could blend very strongly and incorporate, and you would have these energies working perhaps very well together. Now, a semi-sextile, the same thing, but modified and not as intense as the sextile. And an example would be the Sun in Taurus at 1 degree and Gemini rising at 1 degree. Now, if you could have a semi-square in some cases, which is slightly adverse, And you would have, for example, Sun in Taurus at 15 degrees and Gemini rising at 29 degrees. And this could be somewhat adversarial, and it could indicate that this person might feel a little bit misconstrued or misunderstood by other people, because they may feel that the personality or demeanor they're projecting outwardly could be strongly different than their inner self represented by the sun sign. Now, another thing to look at is see where the house the Sun in Taurus is in. So if the Sun in Taurus, let's say in many cases, will be in the 12th or 11th house, and sometimes even the 10th. If it's in the 12th house, you could still, even though the Gemini rising might be coming out a little bit stronger than the Taurus Sun, that Taurus persistent, dogged energy will come out if it's in the 12th house, perhaps in seclusion, and perhaps where when they're by themselves in solitude. And you might have that hard-working quality there. It could be in self-sacrifice, or even in some cases matters connected with the metaphysical, or things that are for others, that doing things for others that are people that are less fortunate than us. And in the 11th house, it could come out, the Sun in Taurus energy may come out through friends, acquaintances, group activities, organizations. And in some cases, if it's in the 10th house, then you might see this person have their Sun in Taurus energy come out strongly in matters pertaining their career, their livelihood, and their self-image. So that's where you might see that persistent, dogged, that hardworking, laborious Taurus nature come out. And really the thing is, people, is that having these two signs are very different. The one way that they are similar is that they're both fairly easygoing, even though Taurus is fixed sign and they're obviously fixed in temperament. They still can be easygoing, and this could be a person that can incorporate the Gemini rising ability for their conversational skills, along with the easygoing Taurus. And it might be somebody that likes to talk a lot in their homes, for example, in peaceful surroundings. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having the Sun in Taurus in Gemini Ascendant in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having the Sun in Taurus and Cancer Ascendant in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.